Well, joining us live now from the beautiful Sunshine Coast is the opposition leader, David Crisafulli. David, it's good to see you. Thanks for your time this morning in this final 24-hour period. Let's start off with that polling, though. It shows you've lost your lead, or a significant portion of it could well be heading for a minority government at the extreme end. Does that show that voters don't trust you?
Good morning, Peter. It shows how close the election's going to be, and really it's firming between two options. It's either a majority LNP government and the stronger youth crime laws and a fix to the health system and dealing with issues like housing, or it's a minority Labor government propped up by the extreme Greens in Brizzy and the chaotic Katters in regional Queensland. And that's a recipe for chaos. And I'm urging voters, elections are close in Queensland. They always are. And I've consistently said what we are trying to do is create a mountain of history. We've got to win over a dozen seats. That's only been done a handful of times. And if Queenslanders want change, they have to vote for it. Otherwise, nothing will change. And the only way to do that is to vote for the LNP. Otherwise, you're just going to have this minority parliament led by Stephen Miles and a fourth-term Labor Party in power for 14 years.
David, you've been deliberately vague on some issues, including the Olympic Stadium and abortion. Might you have shot yourself in the foot by being too cautious?
Peter, the Labor Party loves saying that, but we've put forward plans to the big four crises. They're the issues that Queenslanders want solutions
Well, that's not the Labor
from.
Party.
So
that's a general consensus.
I know the Labor Party push it, but it's not what Queenslanders tell me, because Queenslanders tell me they want to see us elected because they want adult crime, adult time by Christmas. Queenslanders say to me they want to see us elected because they want a health system within 100 days where you see in real time what's happening, and an end to ambulance ramping at 45%. They want to see us go from last on the home ownership ladder to first, and we've got plans to get rid of a tax to do that and to deliver the supply to get young people into a home and vulnerable people with a roof over their head. We've put forward strategies to deal with those rising costs on things like electricity. So, look, we've been very disciplined, we've been very focused, and for 4 years we've shown Queenslanders why they need change. Queensland's got to vote for it. They've got to vote for change if they want to see it. Otherwise, we will wake up on Sunday morning to a very bad government re-elected for a fourth time.
Right, but you released your costings just 2 days out from election day. Was that done to avoid scrutiny?
No, it's what all oppositions do, including the now federal government and this government, Peter Malinauskas in South Australia. It's when you finish announcing your policies, you announce all of your costings, but throughout the campaign, every policy we put forward was fully costed. And what you saw yesterday was the contrast between a shadow treasurer who can balance the books and the government who are promising a $24 billion wrecking ball called the Pioneer Burdekin Pumped Hydro Scheme, which will make electricity prices in Queensland so unaffordable that Queenslanders won't be able to keep the lights on. So the contrast is there. We will respect your money. That matters to us. And Queenslanders have never needed change more than now.
But the costings are released.
Urging them to vote.
There's a million people who've already voted. There's a million people who've already voted.
And those people all saw that every policy we announced was fully funded, down to the dollar. And we stood with third parties. We've had third parties back us in on all of our plans, including our plan to remove the whopping big patients tax, which comes in on the 1st of July. So we'll continue to put forward what is an opportunity for Queenslanders to get rid of a very bad government and elect an LNP team to fix up the mess on youth crime, on health, on housing and on cost of living.
OK, according to the Courier Mail this morning and data there, Robbie Katter might well pick up 2 seats in Townsville, David. That's your home territory. That's home for you. It's where you were born and raised. Why aren't you locking that up?
It's a real risk, Peter, and the fact that the Labor Party would push this polling to prop up the Katters, doesn't that tell you everything you need to know? There's been a deal that has been done. Why would a political party leak against itself? The Labor Party see only one option to cling to power, and that is lock in the Green seats in Brisbane, lock in the preferences of the Katter seats in the regions, and cling to power. Imagine a parliament that operates like that. How on earth would you get stronger laws for youth crime with the Greens in Brisbane? How on earth would you get solutions to the health crisis with the Katters in regional Queensland? It'd be an absolute parliament of chaos and crisis, worse than this one. If Queenslanders want change, they need to vote for it. And the people of Townsville know that they need a fresh start. That city bravely called out the youth crime crisis when this government weakened the laws, and we have put forward the laws to do something about it. And if they elect a majority LNP government, by Christmas, adult crime, adult time. And we'll remove detention as a last resort, get serious about early intervention and finally break the back on the youth crime crisis.
OK, but if it is a minority LNP government, will you have to do deals with Robbie Katter?
No, we've ruled that out, Peter, and you can see the way that we've conducted ourselves versus the way that Stephen Miles has. They're horse trading, they're doing deals with people who are ideologically completely opposed to the things that we as Queenslanders want to see. And I'm urging Queenslanders, the only chance you have for a majority government is a majority LNP government, because we have put forward the plans to do it, and we have not been doing horse trading deals with those minor parties. There's a real risk, and I don't want Queenslanders to wake up on Sunday morning to another 4 years of this mob. They've been a very bad government. They've created the youth crime crisis. They've made it impossible for a young kid to own a home. They make it to the point that Queenslanders can't afford to pay those bills around the kitchen table. And the health system continues to deteriorate, including the closure of maternity services in regional areas and the lack of the ability to get into a hospital and support our staff in the major centres. We need change. We need a fresh start, and only a vote for the LNP will deliver that.
Okay.
If people don't change the government, nothing will change.
OK, that's the opposition leader, David Crisafulli there. Appreciate it, David. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.